All right. Three, two, and one. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Video Game Therapy. Apologies for poor mic quality. We're not working with a normal mic today. Uh, Dimensions of the screen are different. It's a whole thing. I'm in the middle of moving. Yada yada. Wasn't planning on recording one of these today, but kind of wanted to talk about something. And that something is related to The Office and good times. So I never ended up watching The Office for the longest time. People crazed, like, raved about it, but just never, I don't know, never tried it. And then I read a book about workspace dynamics and stuff, and they used The Office as a case study. And I actually really enjoyed the show. It was really funny, and I see, why people love it so much. And the ending really tied together well. It's kind of weird to do a such a meta kind of show like that. But anyway, you don't need to know much about The Office. But at the end, I think the only relevant part here for context really is this notion that um, the whole concept is some documentary team records an office workspace for like 9 years or something and makes a documentary out of it. And and that's the whole show is cut like a documentary. You're aware of the cameras and people look at the camera and stuff like that, and it's done well. Anyway, um, the last episode is the documentary. Well, a year after the documentary is released or whatever, and so the people in the show like react to it being released, and a lot of the lines just really stuck with me. Some of them more so than others. Okay, I've been trying to get this backflip onto Railkiss for so long. Ugh, man. Um, anyhow, um, some of them really stuck with me, and there's a whole bunch of them. That was kind of a cool save. Kind of proud of myself. Um, Shoof. Look at that combo. Easy. Oh my god, I did it. What? I didn't even see myself do it. Great. Anyway, one of the quotes was from a character named Creed, um, and he's like, you know, human. Something about, I guess the way it stuck with me was that something so great about being human is that you can show up anywhere and make it a home. And that kind of stuck with me because it's I'm moving and I'm looking forward to doing all that. The second thing, going in reverse order of importance, I guess, and the two most important things, one of which was this notion of the character Jim, and to his degree Pam, thanking the documentary crew for filming their lives because they get to see themselves, and the life that they've lived, I guess, to put it one way. And I resonated with that a lot because, it started making me want to vlog more just so I could have this thing to look back on because I absolutely love, this should be easy. I absolutely love the fact that I can look back on videos and see myself. I'm not going to go and record, every single day of my life, but maybe do a little more of those vlog things and whatnot. That's a little more into my life than reading rambles. Um, because, it's a good thing to look back on. And the thing I wanted to talk a lot about, I guess, was this notion that one of the characters, Andy Bernard, says. And it's a line that I've seen before, but it never really hit until I kind of watched the show and fully understood his character and all that behind it. Wall ride to backflip to wall ride, double backflip off the grind twice. Cool. Yeah, if I'm in the balloon zone, that second one's easy. He says, "I wish there was a way to know when you're in the good times, um, before they're over." And that's a pretty, I don't know, powerful line. For some people, you wish you realized school was there before it ended, or high school, college. Neither high school nor college were really the best years of my life. I've definitely just learned a lot about myself as these video game therapies have shown. But the thing that really got me with that is I've been talking with someone about or they mentioned this fact that things are more than the sum of their parts. This idea of a gestalt, hard G, soft G, whatever. Um, and to quickly digress, there's the notion of Theseus's ship, which is Aristotle's axe is much easier to explain, but if you have an axe that's made up of, I don't know, three parts, you've got the handle, you've got the axe head, and you got the thing that binds those two things together. If 6 months in the handle breaks, you replace the handle, then 6 months later you replace the axe head, and then 6 months after that you replace, I don't know, the thing that binds them. Well, you've got three new parts, but is it still the same axe? Um, and I don't know. I've never heard an argument in that strongly states yes, it is the same axe. Um, but nonetheless, I'm kind of digressing here. You can say it's the same axe because those three parts make up something greater than themselves. Together they make up a single axe. But that axe can do things that those three parts cannot. Cut down trees, yada yada yada. Those three things can't do alone. And good times, in this sense, maybe capital G, capital T, right? The good times. You don't see them when you're in them because there are so many small things made up of so many big things. Can we get the backflip to wall ride? I don't get a thing, do I? Whatever. You don't recognize the good times because it's so many small things, right? I mean, I guess, classic good times, I've got a handful, but um, one of the big ones is the Minecraft servers that I played on when I was younger, and it's so hard to realize you're in those times. Uh, damn, because it's so many small things that happen at the same time or over time and combine to make up what is this good time, right? So that at the end of the show, Andy says, I wish someone would tell me. Well, I guess he says, like, throughout the show, he constantly looks back at his time at, Cornell, um, and, like, always had fun those times. And now that his job is over at this paper company the show is about, he thinks about all the good times he had with the people there. And so he says, now I'm thinking about these times. Why can't someone just tell me I'm in the good times when I'm in them? And it's one of those things that kind of, to me, I guess, jumps into this notion that time itself is not a linear thing, because you can't, maybe those good times don't exist. They tangibly exist. We're getting heavy today, boys. You can tangibly say this happened, that I joined this Minecraft server, I met that friend, I made this Minecraft plugin, we played that mini game. Like, those times were so fun. And so in that sense, in the moment, someone could come down and be like, hey, these are one of the good times, so enjoy yourself. But all of a sudden, and I'm feeling this a lot in the sense that I'm moving across the country, and all of a sudden it's real, and hanging out with friends after parkour or seeing friends one on one, I realize it's kind of sad that it took me moving away to reach out to people and say, hey, let's meet up, one last time, asterisk indefinitely. It's not like I'm saying goodbye forever, but it'll just be highly unlikely we'll bump into each other. But for some of those interactions, if I stayed in New York, we may never have seen each other even once, which is just a fascinating thought. But I'm only learning the value, and this is, I guess, why I finally got that parkour video out. I'm only learning the value of all these good times because they're over. And so the good times are defined by the sum of their parts, in the sense that I'm suddenly thinking, oh man, I'm gonna, miss getting orange juice and whatnot after Thursday classes, and miss Tuesday things, exploring a new area, learning new tips and tricks from these people. That's unfortunate. I thought that was going to be a valley. And in a sense, the last year of New York, I don't even think about school's role in it. Like, yeah, I graduated, yeah, I finished it, but being in two grad classes weren't the good times. It was weird. I didn't, that's a whole other thing. But so I look back and all of a sudden these things started. Move NYC happened, and then I had my first parkour class, and I met these people, and these things tend to overlap sometimes if we're lucky. But all of a sudden, when you have a big change in life, so change in job, for me, change in location, these good times are defined by you cutting a lot of things off, I guess, or a lot of things changing at once. And I think I've done as best I can in terms of being aware of this is one of the last moments that I might see these people, blah blah blah. You know, I one of my first VGTs was about this mental time travel thing, and I still do that, and I did that, and I thought in a year, I might be in 2 months, I might be feeling lonely and want to have this again. So keep that in mind. So I would just be very conscious of those moments, and it helps me memorize them and remember them a little more because I just pay attention, pretty much. Um, and that's something that's super valuable. And so no one can really tell you when the good times are because they don't hold the same value when they're in its individual parts, right? The good times, sure, they're the good times when you're playing mini games with Minecraft friends and you're playing Among Us with a whole group of people. But every single game of Among Us individually isn't the good times. When you're bad at Valorant and you're playing with a group of people who could have become such a great group of friends, um, but you're bad and whatever, like that, those were fun. Those specific matches weren't the good times. It's all together when these things all of a sudden kind of wrap up, or at least there comes a day, and this I think happens more often, at least in my opinion. There comes a day where we think, man, my life is so bland right now. Where are the good times at? I like my first year of college. I thought I'd like peaked in high school for a while. If I let that mentality, stick around, that would have been a problem, but I didn't. Um, so good for me. Anyway, yeah, that's the thing. Minecraft, great example. Uh, Great times for like 6 years. And the last three, I haven't been active. On my resume, I have the server and I have an end date of June 2021. Just because I decided to commit to other things. And, I do wish in a lot of ways that I could sit down and breathe life into the server again. But for many reasons, I don't feel as if it's possible, I guess. But I look back and I think, when I think, oh, the good old days of Minecraft, I think back to 2014, seeing my first group of like Minecraft friends join, combined with 2017, my like other big group of Minecraft friends joining, and then learning how to code plugins, and I think about all that at the same time. Sure, there are segments. There are people who in 2019 were thinking, oh man, Minecraft is never going to be as good as 2017, and I guess now that holds true, but when certain people move on, it's just good times that end. And it's tough. It's tough because they always will end. It's a hard thing to accept. I mean, it is life, so these things happen. But yeah, if I could stay in New York for probably 2 more years, I think, and probably the parkour group would be relatively unchanged. But even now, and maybe I'm a little more cognizant of it, but there are new people joining classes and new people joining the group in a way. And not that it's a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a great thing for like 30 million reasons. But there's just a sense of change, right? And that things will never be, this will never be just us five again, right? Six, whatever. And that's a little sad. Um, but at the same time, it's, gonna happen regardless. Wow, getting lucky with these rails is a little more difficult than I thought. Um, can he do it? No. Um, oh, that would have been a great opportunity. Anyway, so it's in a sense it's I'm prematurely ending the good times. Thought I had the shield up. In from my eyes at least. Mark goes out, someone else comes in. The group dynamic kind of shifts, but I'm just one person, right? And in a lot of ways, over my life, I've experienced so many times where I'm the last one standing, and perhaps it gives me a little sense of control uh, that I'm, not the last one standing this time, and sort of first to go. I really connected with people, and it was great. But there are moments where I think, ah, man, I wish someone had told me just how important parkour would be. So at the start, I could enjoy it a lot more. So at the start, I could engage these friendships and have it a little more. Um, but at the end of the day, I think what I really have to hope for, I guess, is the fact that there will be more good times. They'll just be different. It'll never be the same. Um, the group that played Among Us, like that was fun. And there was one person overlap from a group of friends from Minecraft, and that doesn't mean the times are you don't have to compare the good times with the good times. Good times phase one of your life or whatever. That's so unlucky. Um, you just kind of gotta accept that good times are encapsulated. Be aware of those moments as best you can. Um, I can think of my first year of college, and it was just I was miserable for so many reasons. Um, and I'm so glad that I'm getting to end New York on a good note. I never really intended to stay, so it is what it is. I guess no one really intends to stay, but anyhow, yeah, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit because it's really hitting me. uh, you know, one of the things I want in this world is like a friend, like in How I Met Your Mother. It's a great example. Um, Similar to The Office, and it hits you in the same feel sense of just like, wow, these seasons were an adventure. I'm sure shows like Friends are the same and they end the same way, but just all of a sudden people have their independent paths. People grow up, people move on. Um, and now that I'm moving to Seattle, it's like for the first time in my life, I feel like I'll have good times to look back on. Maybe this is getting a little too personal for video game therapy, but met up with a group of high school friends, two different groups of high school friends the other day, and it's great. I just, and this parkour group of friends, I think, no, the Minecraft server stuff was definitely the first good times, but, everyone has them. And if you don't, um, then there's two things going on. If you don't have the good times to look back on, then either A, get out there and start living your life, or B, you're living them right now. And that's something to be aware of. So, yeah, I guess, like in a sense, a relationship is like good times, but it doesn't end solely because it's not dependent on so many people, just two. That's an interesting thought. Anyway, I'm gonna keep playing some more Alto's Odyssey because I love this game. Um, and I'm procrastinating my Japanese reviews, so we'll keep it at that. Um, thanks so much for watching and or listening. Today's was, I guess, a long one, maybe kind of a deep one, but yeah, have a good one. And ooh, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. As always, don't forget to stay awesome. Hope to see you next week.